welcome to our next videos in this series where we are discussing the previous year questions of LDCE exam of 2023 paper 2, which is for categories 1, 8 and 11. In this video we'll discuss question number 61 to question number 80. The questions are mainly on pension, commutation of pension. Let's begin. Question number 61. The rate of death gratuity payable to the family of a government servant who dies while in service with 20 years or more of qualifying service under CCS payment of gratuity under NPS rules 2021 is. So generally it does not change with NPS or pension. For this we'll refer to the pension rules published in VIII Gazette in 2021. When we go to page number 26, there is the rule 5 on retirement gratuity and death gratuity. In subpara B, we can see that in serial number 5, when the qualifying service is 20 years or more, half of emoluments for every completed 6 monthly period of qualifying service, subject to a maximum 33 times of emoluments, will be given as death gratuity. So the correct answer is D. Next question 62. So in this we have been given a case where Mr. X, a pensioner who had got 40% of his monthly pension committed in the first year of his retirement, now restoration of the committed amount of his pension shall be due in month of December 2023, that is on completion of 15 years of commutation. Now which one of the following actions would Mr. X require to take in this regard? Now it will not happen automatically that his committed part of the pension will be restored. The pensioner has to take some action, and the question is exactly asking which action has to be taken. So to answer this question, we will refer to the PDF on commutation of pension rules. If you go to page number 35, you can see that a pro forma has been given to apply for restoration of committed portion of pension after 15 years, implementation of the judgment of the Supreme Court, in which the pensioner is submitting this application to the PDA, which is Pension Disbursing Authority. So option B is the right option. Let's move on to the next question, which is on NPS. Which of the following actions are required to be taken by a subscriber to reactivate his NPS account frozen due to his failure to contribute at least the minimum contribution of rupees 6,000 in a financial year? So it is actually 500 per month, which brings it to 6,000 per year. However, if you submit it in a lump sum, there is no requirement to contribute monthly. So the first statement says deposit the minimum contribution of the last financial years when the account was frozen. So you don't have to deposit the contribution of all the last financial years. You just need to deposit the contribution of 1 month in which you are paying. Then there is a penalty amount of rupees 100 which you have to pay. Then deposit a minimum contribution of rupees 500, which is for the current in which you are paying, which is actually the right answer for statement 1, in which it is saying that you have to contribute for all the missed part of previous financial years. Then all this you have to submit through a request in a format called form UOS SIO S10.A. It's the name of the form which you have to submit to activate the NPS account, which has been frozen due to non-making of payment. So statement 2, 3 and 4 are right statements, and the right answer is A. Next question is again on pension NPS. Consider the following statements regarding the application of pension rules to a central government employee who was appointed against a vacancy notified for appointment prior to date of notification of NPS system, that is 22nd of December 2003, and he joined the service after implementation of NPS, which is 1st January 2004. Now to answer this question, we have to go to Department of Pension and Welfare OM. So now we have opened the OM. The OM issued by Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare, dated 3rd March 2023, in which if you go to para 4, it says that it has been decided that in all cases where government servant employee appointed against a post or vacancy which was advertised, notified for recruitment or appointment prior to the date of notification for NPS and is covered in the NPS on joining service on or after 1st Jan 2004 may be given a one-time option to be covered under CCS Pension Rules 1972. Now the question is asking which of the following statements are not correct. So statement 1 says he shall be mandatorily covered under NPS. Yes, he is to be covered, but we will choose which rules will apply. He shall be automatically covered under CCS pension rules. No, he will be given an option to choose whether rules of 1972 will apply or the latest rules will apply. So statement 2 is wrong. Statement 3 says he shall be required to exercise one-time option to be covered. Exactly, that's what the OM is saying. So option 3 is also right. Statement 4, based on the option exercised by the government servant, his case will be placed before the appointing authority. Now this statement is also right. So statement 1 says he shall be mandatorily covered under NPS. No, actually he has to choose which rules of NPS will apply to him. So he will not be mandatorily covered under NPS. He can choose that previous NPS rules, previous pension rules of 1972 may be applied to him. So statement 1 and 2 are incorrect. Statement 3 and 4 are correct. Hence the right answer is B for question number 64. For question number 65, it's again a question on commutation of pension. Consider the following statements in the context of CCS commutation of pension rules 1981. Statement 1 says additional pension becoming due as a result of revision qualifies for commutation. Statement 2, in a particular case the revised authority for pension was issued on so and so date, although the pensioner got the benefit of revised pension with effect from a back date in 2020. In this case, the commutation of additional pension shall also be admissible from 2020. Statement 3 says government servant to whom pending assessment of final pension, provisional pension has been sanctioned under Rule 64. It is now 62 in new rules. Shall not be eligible to commute a fraction of such provisional pension. So if we'll go to commutation PDF, page 4, let's open that. It is saying, rule 4 is saying restriction on commutation of pension. So it is saying that no government servant against whom departmental or judicial proceedings have been instituted before retirement will be eligible to commute a percentage of his provisional pension. So he will not be allowed. If department judicial proceedings are pending, then he will not be allowed to commute. But in question, there is no such statement mentioned that the servant belongs to this case where proceedings are instituted against him. So it's talking about the general case, and in general case he is allowed to commute a fraction of his provisional pension. So definitely statement 3 is wrong. Now if we eliminate statement 3 from the given options, we can eliminate option B and option D. Now we are only left with option A and C. So either 1 only or 2 only will be the right answer. So definitely a person can apply for commutation if he becomes eligible for additional pension. So statement 1 is right. And in statement 2, however the source of this statement is not known, we can apply a reasonable logic that The financial benefits cannot be availed from the back date, especially in case of commutation. So statement 2 can be considered as wrong, and we can take a safe bet and mark option A as the right answer, which is 1 only. Now the next questions which we'll be discussing in this video will belong to conduct rules. For that, let's open the PDF on conduct rules by TOPT. So the question number 66 says, consider the following statements in context of Rule 3C, prohibition of sexual harassment of working women of CCS Conduct Rules 1964. So in this regard, DOPT has issued a set of guidelines dated 4th of November 2022 for preventing harassment of women at workplace. So statement 1 of the question says that chairperson of the internal complaint committee has to be senior in rank to the officer against whom the allegation of sexual harassment has been brought. So this is a question of seniority, that a member on the committee can be junior or senior, can be junior to the victim. So for this, let's go to page 4, and specifically it is mentioned that seniority of the chairperson of the complaint committee. So the guidelines say that there is no bar either in CCA rules or under Sexual Harassment Prevention Act 2013 that the chairperson of the complaints committee being junior to the suspect officer or the charge officer. Hence there is no bar on seniority. The chairperson can be junior to the suspect officer or the charge officer. Hence statement 1 is wrong. Basically the statement is asked about the difference in seniority between the chairperson of the committee and the suspect officer or the officer against charges of harassment have been alleged. Statement 2 says, leave up to maximum of 90 days may be granted to an agreed female government servant during the pendency of inquiry under Harassment Prevention Act 2013. So for this we have to refer to page 14, in which Rule 48 of CCS Rules 1972 comes into picture, and it says that leave up to a period of 90 days may be granted to an agreed female government servant. Hence statement 2 is correct. Statement 3 says any woman working or visiting an office of central government can file complaint related to sexual harassment at workplace through SHE-box. So for this we will refer to page 17. In para IF, this electronic mechanism which has been established, also known as SHE box, has been provided as an initiative to provide a platform to the woman working or visiting any office of central government to file complaints related to sexual harassment at workplace. Therefore statement 3 is also right. The right answer is B, 2 and 3 only. Now question number 67. Consider the following statements regarding joining of associations by government servants in terms of Rule 6 of CCS Conduct Rules. So let's move on to CCS Conduct Rules. Page number 66. The Rule 6 gives the rule position on joining of associations by government servants. So statement 1 of the question says that no government servant shall join or continue to be a member of association, the objects or activities of which are prejudicial to the interests of the sovereignty and integrity of India or public order or morality. So this has been given as Rule 6. Therefore statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 says action for violation of Rule 6 can be taken by disciplinary authority only when an authority not below the level of HOD has decided that the objectives or activities of the association concerned are such as would attract Rule 6 IBID. So subpara 1 of Rule 6 says exactly the same thing, and this statement is also correct. Statement 3 says a disciplinary authority may take action for violation of Rule 6 without a decision by HOD. So actually it is directly in contravention to what has been given in statement 2, and we have seen that statement 2 is right and HOD is the authority who will decide whether action is to be taken or not. So statement 3 is wrong and right answer is option B, 1 and 2 only. Now question number 68. To which of the following the provisions of Rule 10 of CCS conduct rules regarding evidence before committee or any other authority does not apply? So this question has been asked multiple times. This is a repeat question from year 2021-2022. Yes, the same question was asked. So let's go to page number 74. Under Rule 10, it says that evidence before committee or any other authority. So giving evidence before any committee, this rule will not apply to the situations where evidence has been given at an inquiry before an authority appointed by government, parliament or legislature of state, or if it's a judicial inquiry, or if it's a departmental inquiry ordered by authorities subordinate to the government. So all these three statements are correct. Hence the right answer is B, 1, 2 and 3. Which of the following statements are correct in the context of CCS conduct rules? No government servant shall accept with the previous sanction of the government own wholly or in part or conduct or participate in the editing or management of any newspaper or other periodical publication or electronic media. So this is dealt by Rule 8, which gives guidelines on connection with press or other media. So statement 1 correctly matches with the para 8 subpara 1, and statement 1 is right. Statement 2, it is not mandatory for the government servant publishing a book or participating in a public media to clarify that the views expressed by him are his own and not that of government. So the subpara 3 says, or the rule says that servant at all times will make it clear that the views expressed by him are his own and not that of the government. So these days when we see on LinkedIn profiles and Twitter profiles specifically of government servants, they say that the retweets are not endorsements or whatever views are their own. Sometimes when senior bureaucrats publishes a book, they write that the views expressed in the book are solely their own. So statement 2 is incorrect. Now statement 3, the prescribed time limit for grant of permission relating to transaction in immovable property outside India or with foreigners beyond which permission may be assumed to have been granted by the competent authority is 30 days. So this is given in the Rule 18A of conduct rules on page 164. We'll go. It says that no government servant shall, except with the clear sanction of the prescribed authority, will purchase any immovable property situated outside India or enter into any transaction with any foreigner, and there is no such provision that after so and so days servant can assume that permission has been granted. He cannot assume this. He has to take previous sanction of the government, however much time it takes. And statement 3 is wrong, and the right answer is 1 only, which is option B. Let's go to question number 70, which is a very simple question and it's given in the beginning of conduct rules. Which of the following categories of employees are covered by CCS conduct rules 1964? So generally the CCS rules applies on all the civilians, including the civilians and defense service. For a member of all India service, they have a separate set of rules of their own. Similarly for railways, generally set of rules are different. Hence only statement 1 is right and the right answer is B. You can refer to page 3 of the conduct rules to read more about other categories of officers and class of officers and departments on whom these rules apply and whom these rules do not apply. A similar question was asked in previous year question paper of 2021-2022, where they asked about the members of paramilitary forces. We'll discuss that in some other video, but I'm mentioning here to just tell that this is a very common thing and is asked frequently, whether in context of conduct rules or in context of leave rules. We must carefully read and remember that the CCS rules are getting applied on which category of government employees. Question number 71. Question number 71 says, in terms of Rule 2 of CCS conduct rules, which of the following under the category of members of family? So for that we have to see the definition of family in conduct rules on page number 9. That is a very basic foundation of these rules, because it differs significantly from definition of family given in other set of rules, like TA rules or leave rules or CGHS. Now it says that member of family, wife or servant, whether residing or not, will be the members of family, but it will not include a wife or husband, as the case may be separated from the government servant by a decree or order of the competent court. So here statement 2 is incorrect. The judicially separated wife or husband will not be treated as part of family. Statement 1, child or stepchild who is no longer in any way dependent on government servant will be part of family. So it says that any other person related whether by blood or marriage to the government servant or to the government servant's wife or husband and wholly dependent on the government servant will be. Actually we have to refer to sub rule 2 here, specifically given for children of government servants, and it says that highlighted portion you can read that it does not include a child or stepchild who is no longer in any way dependent on the government servant. Hence statement 1 is also wrong. It does not include non-dependent children or stepchildren. Statement 3, any person related whether by blood or marriage to the government servant or to the government servant's wife or husband and wholly dependent on the government servant. So statement 3, which we were reading earlier, mentions that any person who is related to the government servant by blood or by marriage, like in-laws, not in-laws but brother, sister, and are dependent on the government servant completely, will be treated as member of family for the purpose of conduct rules. And statement 3 is right. Statement 4, wife or husband not residing with the government servant, yes, if they are not residing, then also conduct rules apply until they have been judicially separated, as we discussed in statement 2. So statement 3 and 4 are right. Right answer is option B. Let's move on to question number 72 of conduct rules, which is on value of gifts accepted by a government servant from his or relatives and from his personal friends having no official dealings with him on the occasions of weddings or anniversaries beyond which he is required to make a report to the government. For this we can refer to Rule 13 of Rule 2 of conduct rules given on page number 82 and 83. Statement 1 says that rupees 25,000 is the limit in case of government servant holding group A post, which is correct. Rupees 10,000 in case of group C employee, which is incorrect. It is actually 7.5 thousand. For group B it is 15,000, it is correct. Statement 4 says it is 50,000 for group A, it is 25,000 as we have already seen in statement 1. It is 7,500 in case of group C government servant. Yes, this is also right. So let's mark it as the right statement. Hence right answer is B, 1, 3 and 5. Question number 73. Who among the following are part of the group constituted by the government to scrutinize complaints against secretaries to the government of India, whether pseudonymous or otherwise? So DOPT YDOM dated 28 September 2022 has shared the details of the committee, and out of those, Secretary MHA will not be part of the group. Rest all other will be the members of the group to scrutinize complaints against secretaries to the government. Hence, option D is the right option. 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. Question number 74. Which of the following are covered under the definition of strike in terms of CCS Conduct Rules 1964? For that, we will go to page number 68. In Rule 2, we have been given what are the strikes and what could be categorized as strike under conduct rules. So all the three statements, which is mass absentation from work without permission, refusal to work overtime where such overtime is necessary in public interest, and resorting to practices which are likely to result in cessation or substantial retardation of work, constitute as a strike. Hence, option is the right answer. Question number 75 says, which of the following statements regarding directions of official supervisor are correct? So for that, we'll refer to page 10. Rule 3, which says that sub-rule 3 of Rule 3 says that direction of the official supervisor or superior shall ordinarily be in writing. Oral direction to subordinates shall be avoided as far as possible. Where the issue of oral direction becomes unavoidable, the official superior shall confirm it in writing immediately thereafter. So let's see the statements in the question. Statement 1 says the directions of the official superior shall invariably in writing. It's not invariably, it's generally. The word which is used here is ordinarily. Hence statement 1 is wrong. Second statement, oral directions to subordinates shall be avoided as far as possible. Yes, true. Statement 3 says where the issue of oral directions become unavoidable, the superior shall confirm it in writing immediately thereafter. So we have to be very careful when reading the statements given in the question. Every word has a meaning, especially the words like invariably, only, always should be read carefully, and no rush should be made to mark the option as right or wrong. So this brings us to the right answer, which is 2 and 3 only, option B. Question 76 is now on CCA rules. So let's refer CCA rules to answer these questions. So question number 76 says that which of the following statements are not correct in the context of appeal preferred under CCA rules of 1965. Statement 1 says the authority which made the order appealed against shall, on receipt of a copy of the appeal, wait for the directions from the appellate authority before forwarding the same to the appellate authority. Now, the rule 26 of CCA rules in subpara 3 says that the authority which made the order appealed against shall, on receipt of a appeal, forward the same with its comments together with the relevant records to the appellate authority without any avoidable delay and without waiting for direction from appellate authority. Hence statement 1 is incorrect. Second statement is period of limitations for preferring appeal is 40 days from the date on which a copy of order appealed against is delivered to the appellant. No, it is not 45 days, it is not 40 days, it is 45 days as given in rule 25. Again, the third statement says appellate authority may entertain the appeal even after expiry of the prescribed period if it is satisfied that appellant had sufficient cause for not preferring the appeal in time. So this exception has been made in rule 25 and this is right. Every person preferring an appeal shall do so separately and in his own name. Yes, this is also right. So So in subpara 1 of Rule 26, it says that every person who is preferring an appeal shall do so separately in his own name. So statement 4 is also right. So the final answer is, we are asked which are the statements which are not correct. So statement 1 and statement 2 is not correct. Right answer is option D. Sometimes when we read the question, we remember that question is asking statements which are not correct because it is written in the beginning of the question. And when we come to the end of the question, we forget this and we would have marked, suppose, 3 and 4 or some other options the right answer, because we would have forgotten it by the time we reach the end of the question. So make sure that you write it somewhere in the options that you have to mark the incorrect options before you start solving the question. This will save you valuable marks. Question number 77. In the context of CCA rules, which of the following actions can be taken by the authority while exercising the power of revision of an order? So here the question has been asked on the power of revision of order. What all options or powers does the competent authority in the ministry has? So for that we'll go to rule number 32, page number 32, and it has rule 29 in para 1 subpara A, B and C says that the competent authority can confirm, modify or set aside the order imposing the penalty. Yes, this is true under rule 29 subpara 6 and then subpara A. Similarly, rule statement 2 is also right as given in para B. Rule statement 3 is also right, which is in contention of para B, that impose any penalty where no penalty has been imposed. Statement 4, remit the case to the authority which made the order, directing such authority to make further inquiry as it may consider proper in the circumstances of the case. It can remit the case to the authority which made the order to do further inquiry. Hence all the statements are right. So the right answer is A, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Question number 78. Which are the services where the services of servant are lent by one department to other department or to a state government? Who among the following shall have the powers of appointing authority or for the purpose of placing such servant under suspension, and who has the powers of disciplinary authority for the purpose of conducting disciplinary proceedings against him? So for that it is question when a government is on transfer to some other department or to state government. So it says that under rule 2 subpara 1 that the borrowing authority shall have the powers of the appointing authority for the purpose of placing such government servant under suspension, and it also has the powers of disciplinary authority to conduct a disciplinary inquiry or proceeding against him. Hence the borrowing authority is the right authority. Who has the powers? So option C is the right answer. Question number 79. Under which circumstance a disciplinary authority may dispense with the requirement of holding an inquiry under CCA rules before imposing any penalty on the government servant? So the cases where inquiry can be dispensed with, again it is given in rule 19 where a special procedure has to be followed in certain cases, and which are these special cases where any penalty is imposed on a government servant on the ground of conduct which has led to his conviction on a criminal charge. So in these cases, without doing the inquiry, a penalty can be imposed. So statement 1 is right. Statement 2, disciplinary authority is satisfied for reasons to be recorded by it in writing that it is not reasonably practical to hold an inquiry in the manner prescribed in CCA rules 1965. Yes, so 19.2 also says this. So statement 2 is right. And similarly statement 3, when president is satisfied that in the interest of security of the state it is not expedient to hold any inquiry This is also true. So all the three options are right. Hence the right answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. This brings us to the last question of this video. Question number 80. Which of the following amount to major penalties within the meaning of Rule 11 of CCA rules? Now this is a very important question and it has been asked almost every year. You must remember by heart what are the major and minor penalties in CCA rules. One question will definitely be asked from this section. In Rule 11, we can say that there are two categories of penalties, minor penalty and major penalties. So we are asked about major penalties. So compulsory retirement is a major penalty at number 7, subpara. Removal from service shall not be a disqualification, which shall not be a disqualification for future employment under the government. So removal from service which shall not be a disqualification for future employment is also given at para 8. So this is also a major penalty. Withholding of increments of pay. Now this is a minor penalty. Withholding of increments of pay in para 4. Statement 4 says dismissal from service which shall ordinarily be disqualification for future employment. Yes, this is also a major penalty under para 9. Now statement 5 says withholding of promotion. So withholding of promotion is a minor penalty under para 2. So we have only 3 major penalties in these 5, which is 1, 2 and 4. So the right answer is option D. This brings us to the end of this video. If you like this video, you can subscribe to our channel LDCE Made Easy and press the bell icon so that you can get updates whenever we launch a new video. We will be coming soon with more such videos. Till then, stay tuned. Good day. Bye.